Panel's got plenty to say about this. Clinton supporter and former Obama senior advisor Van Jones is with us. Clinton supporter and Democratic strategist Maria Cardona, chief political analyst Gloria Borger, Trump supporters Jeffrey Lord and Scotty Nell Hughes, and our political director David Chalian. Gloria, how big a deal is this? I mean, it certainly looks damning on the tape.
It does look damning, and we don't know how big a deal it is. It's just more garbage in what's been a very ugly and divisive campaign. We don't know whether this was locker room talk, to use a phrase, or whether this
It is sort of, I mean, though, ironic that they're using the term this is barroom talk when they condemn Donald Trump for, saying locker room
talk. We don't know how this video was gotten. We don't know how it was edited. I mean, there are so many unanswered questions to this story, so you need to start peeling the layers of the onion here. What I will say, though, on the face of it, you see the story. It first appears in Breitbart. It confirms an existing negative narrative. If you are so disposed to believe that the Clinton campaign is dishonest, et cetera, it will do that. I think, however, this is a story that needs a lot more reporting on it, and the tape is quite disturbing, honestly.
Jeffrey, I mean, as a Trump supporter, you hear these people talking about,
I'm not surprised.
Egging people on and fomenting violence.
Yeah, I'm not surprised in the least. As a matter of fact, I said some version of this months and months ago without knowing about this, and said, this is what the American left historically does. They do things like this. The whole Chicago riots in 1968 were based with these kind of provocations. And to be bipartisan about it for a moment, the first thing I thought of when I heard this was Nixon's plumbers, who were out there breaking the law deliberately, burglarizing Daniel Ellsberg's psychiatrist's office and this kind of thing. I mean, this is not acceptable in American politics. Yeah. I mean, this is totally unacceptable. And here we are.
Maria?
You're right. It is not acceptable at all, which is why I'm glad that the DNC and the Hillary for America campaign came out and said as much. I do think we have to underscore, though, the fact that James O'Keefe has zero credibility in this area. He's the one who did the doctored videos of Planned Parenthood, which were completely false. He's a criminal, right? And so I think that, yes, we have to look into it and to make sure that, none of this actually happened. The DNC says none of it actually happened, and in fact, this group and this guy was not working for the DNC.
But I think to say he's a criminal, by the way, I mean, so he did committed. I guess
he's a convicted criminal, isn't he?
Well, he was convicted of a crime. I don't know that one brands a person a criminal for the rest of their life based on one action.
Okay,
Van, what do you make?
That's true, but then I think we have to continue to look at it and see what's going on.
Well, there are two different things here. One is it looks like a confession from Creamer that they are sending people to the rallies to stir up trouble. That's not illegal. It's distasteful, but you can kind of live with that. The other, though, is horrific. The other is a conspiracy to rig an election. Now, I would take that much more seriously if it didn't come from Pinocchio. I mean, the guy, I don't like, calling people criminals.
By the way, that's Donald Trump's plane arriving here in Las Vegas. He's arriving for the debate tomorrow. Go ahead.
But I would take it a lot more seriously. They're not booing me, Jeffrey. As much as you wish they were booing me, they're not booing me. They're booing your candidate. So here's the deal. I think that the fact that this comes from O'Keefe is a reason to withhold judgment. It's a reason to withhold judgment because this guy literally is Mr. Pinocchio. If there's a less trusted figure in American politics, I don't know who it is.
That's right.
But if any of this is even remotely true, it's very disturbing.
Well, let me point this out about James O'Keefe. Let me be the second person to defend him. Remember, Acorn lost their taxpayer funding because of James O'Keefe and his investigation into housing fraud and what was going on. But still, then talk to the Republicans and Democrats. Well, I don't know about false.
He successfully stampeded the Congress into doing something horrific.
So he stampeded them. So he fooled all of the House.
He did. In fact, all that turned out to be false.
But what we're finding out is you cannot sit there and discredit him. But he's not Mr. Pinocchio. His work actually has accomplished things. I'm sorry that it doesn't fit your narrative that Trump supporters are horrible and they're for violence. It actually shows that, once again, they were instigated. That the whole year we've been demonized, saying that we are just the ones that are causing all this violence at our rallies. And this just proves, like the Chicago rally, like it proves about the woman with COPD, that they were sent in to instigate. It wasn't necessarily to be a part of the Democratic
There's no
process.
proof that any of it happened.
Yeah, well, there is. They claim it right here. They had no reason on secret tape to lie about it.
Well, by the way, that's like saying Donald Trump
That's
had no
right.
reason to lie
Exactly.
about, molesting women on a tape to Billy
Trump
Bush.
admitted
It's a
because
completely
it's on
different
tape.
thing. This is a conversation with
worse.
one other. No,
Okay.
Well,
this
I
is
mean,
much worse.
But
You're right.
there is a certain amount of hypocrisy. I mean, either you can believe Donald Trump was bragging about something he didn't actually do. You can believe these people on a tape were bragging about something they didn't do to make themselves more important. I'm not saying they did. I don't know who's right and who's wrong in this, but it's strange to say one person's bragging,
one demonized one person, one demonized an entire movement. Trump supporters have been made out to be the most evil people, and that's not right. It's not fair. The most peaceful.
But listen, I mean,
Go ahead, David.
Not by their
obviously,
own
to your
words.
point, even the hypothetical was serious enough that the Clinton campaign came out to reject that in their statement. They wanted to make that clear. I do think you can hear in Scotty's comments, this is going to give a lot of energy and juice and comfort to Trump supporters because the media covered so much of the violence at Trump rallies really extensively. And so now that they have something, Trump supporters have something now to hang on to say, hey, this wasn't just some natural phenomenon.
Which, by the way, was an allegation being made by Trump supporters on our air at the time, saying this, and I think even Donald Trump.
And this will be a big energy boost for Trump supporters.
Jeff, you get your shot, but I don't think that saves you. Look, people have to take responsibility for their own actions. If somebody goes to a Hillary Clinton rally and says Hillary Clinton is the B word, and then somebody punches that person, the person who did the punching has to take responsibility. People get provoked all the time. This is the real world.
And you're sounding more and more like me every day. This is just going to be great. This is great, a conversion on air.
But here's the thing. The DNC says that they have no evidence to suggest that the activities articulated in the video actually occurred.
That's right.
That's where the reporting has to come in now, because you have to match it.
Laura, you know where this is going to lead, don't you?
No, I don't.
A congressional investigation at some point.
Well, we hope
Are you
so,
calling
actually.
Jason Chaffetz?
We hope so, because part of what the DNC said is that they are looking into James O'Keefe and whether everything that he did, not so above board. And by the way, huge connection between James O'Keefe, Breitbart, Steve Bannon, Roger Stone. So again,
because once again, you're blaming us. You're blaming and demonizing us. That narrative does not work.
Trump supporters love this. This is going to do nothing to change minds.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. This just proves this idea that whether you want to talk about media bias, whether you talk about pundit bias, that you're all out there.
You guys are the ones talking about media bias.
Let her finish. Let her finish.
Right now, you have Trump supporters that say, I want to vote for Mr. Trump in these polls, but I'm afraid to say it. You saw on Friday, you saw a line of cars at a Trump-Pence rally be completely vandalized. You saw a firebombing on Saturday night of a Republican headquarters that had Trump-Pence signs.
Exactly.
This goes against the narratives that the Democrats are trying to paint as Republicans, Trump supporters as deplorable. So it doesn't work anymore.
Let's take a quick break. There's a lot more to talk about, including this. Donald Trump, who just arrived here a moment ago, we showed you that, made a stir with the people he invited to the last debate. Well, we just found out who his latest